Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the VARyaMAN channel. And today I am not alone. I have someone, a very special friend who joins me in. Firizio is here and he joins
Woohoo!
us,
Woohoo!
a fellow Chelsea fan and someone who I was able to engage with because of the fact that he called the Club World Cup champions ahead of time before the game was played. A very bold move indeed, and that turned out to be right. And look where we are. We are world champions, man.
Champions of the world. It's great. It's great.
Woohoo!
For next 3.5 years, it's great. It's great to be world champions because, not everyone can say that. Not everyone can say they're champions of Europe. Like Arsenal can't even say they're champions of Europe, but we can say we're champions of the world. So it's great to be that club.
Yeah. But with that also comes expectations. And then you have the other clubs who want to beat you because they want to take pride in the fact that they've beaten the world champions. It's a massive boost to their inner motivation, you'd say, or maybe adds up to the points tally at the end of the day, of course. But yeah, I think super glad to have you on the show, and we will try to make this super fun. Delve into all that transpired towards in the first match week of the season, which was exhilarating stuff. Absolutely, we'll review some of the hits and misses. What are the potential transfer activity that some of the clubs can do basis potential reinforcements, in terms of injury crisis that they might be having, in terms of the different player profiles that they might be on the lookout for. So, all of that good stuff, all packaged for you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode that we're doing together, where we have certain of these football fans come in and we enjoy some nice candid conversation. So yeah,
Yes.
Firizio, what are your thoughts about match week one, all that transpired, all the action that you saw?
To be
Give
honest,
us more on that.
it was a great match week. First game, a lot of goals. Bournemouth almost did the unexpected and came back against Liverpool. But other than that, everyone did, what they expected. City, amazing performance. Tottenham slapped Burnley up. But there was shock performances as well. Like West Ham against Sunderland. You can't lose 3-0 to a newly promoted team in the first game of the week, especially being West Ham, who just won the Conference League 2, 3 years ago. Graham Potter, I don't know what he's doing. I think he needs to get sacked, to be honest. It's too early, but I feel like, yeah.
Yeah,
Another
I
shock
agree. I
result.
agree with you there. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And just to add like a little nugget of a stat,
Yeah.
Potter managed 5 wins out of the 18 games that he was in charge last season out. So this really kind of highlights the fact that he is really on the fringes, and
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see whether he
I'll
might just be the first gaffer out the door.
I'll tell you what, man. I feel like it's gonna be a great relegation battle this season.
Yeah,
There's the Burnley, the Leeds, but I feel like West Ham, Wolves, Fulham, they're not great teams. And I feel like it won't be as clear cut as the last couple of seasons where there's three teams who get relegated by match week 28. It's going to be
yeah,
till the last day. 4 or 5 teams in and out. Maybe Everton's in there as well. Sunderland, though, they're looking promising.
right.
Sunderland spent a lot of money, and it
Yeah.
looks like, those signings are actually making an impact. Unlike, last couple seasons where a small team spends a lot of money and the team just doesn't click. So they've done great business, and I'm happy for them, to be honest. It's good seeing this is like it's a Premier League club, Sunderland, from the
Yeah,
past history. So
yeah,
I feel like their fans are gonna have a great time this season, you know.
yeah. I echo with your thought. But we've got to talk a bit about Manchester City, don't we, Firizio? That's one team everyone has really underrated, and the show that Raniers put up, especially. I mean, what a
Ooh.
oh my gosh, man!
How they find look, when Aguero left, they found the Haaland replacement next season. When De
Yeah,
Bruyne leaves, they just find the replacement like that. He's like technically so good, finds the right pass, got a goal as well, good finish. I'm gonna have to put him in my FPL team soon. But as the season, almost starts, you always see the my Premier League predictions all over YouTube. Everyone has Liverpool first. Mostly everyone has Liverpool. And then they got the Arsenal second. And for some reason, City was being put third. And I get
Yeah.
that they didn't have the best start to the season last year, but let's not pretend like after that terrible start where I think they went winless in 10 games, they came back
Hmm.
to be in, I think, 5, 6 points away from um, second place, which is not bad considering their terrible start. So I think people really underrated City, underrated Pep Guardiola and what he can do, and they're already top of the table on
Yeah.
goal difference. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a tough City,
Yeah.
man. The way they terrorized the league the last 10 years, they're gonna do it again, I think.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's gonna be a tough title race this time around. I think very interestingly, I came across a very unorthodox opinion where someone said that this could be one of those seasons which could be decided on goal difference. What's really your
Wow.
take on that? Do you see something like that really happening? I mean, wouldn't it
I
just change the entire atmosphere and how this league is then viewed across the world? It's of course one of the best leagues in the world, but then
Yes.
that then just takes that dimension to another level. That conversation goes to another level, right? So
Mhm.
yeah,
You remember the city pool rivalries, Manchester City, Liverpool. They were the top two dogs. They'll have what, 91, 89 points, but then third place has like 75. So those were the two for a long time. And then Arsenal came around trying to
mm,
beat City. And then
hmm,
last season it was Liverpool with Arsenal.
yeah.
I think although we're gonna have a great everything, great relegation battle, great top four race, great title race because not only is City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea involved, but I feel like Tottenham's a great team, and once they get Eze, it's gonna be even a greater team. I don't think they'll actually fight for the title, but I just feel like it's gonna be a different season where we might have a lot of teams lose, as in like maybe we don't have, a 95, 100 point season, but
Yeah.
everyone will be 88, 87, 86, 85. And it should be a good season. I feel like we've been avoiding talking about Chelsea because of their results. So what did you think of that goalless draw?
So to just put it out there, when I viewed the match stats, and I'll give you a reaction on what really what my reaction was when I was
Yeah.
watching the game live. But then just to keep that conversation separate from what transpired after I watched some of the stats, so it was
Yes.
glaring to find out that the expected goals for Chelsea for that game was pegged at 1.6, 1.8, which is very surprising to me because from what I watched in the game, there were four clear cut chances that fell to us, which
Yes.
could have sealed the victory for us. Of course, there are a couple chances that Crystal Palace were also able to create, but at least the four notable chances for me fell to Chaloba, fell to Liam Delap, fell to Estevao, fell to
Andre
Andre
Santos.
Santos. Yeah, towards
Yes.
the end of the game. So those were, in my opinion, clear-cut chances which were probably not included in that calculation.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had around good 6 or 7 corners, which the first header of which fell to a Chelsea player. So
Mm.
that was another few chances which weren't probably featured in that calculation altogether. So mixed feeling. It's of course not panic stations as of now, but you'd feel that maybe things could have been different. Maybe we
Yeah.
could have been in that bracket with Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City, who were able to get all those 3 points
Yeah.
when it matters, right? Especially in the beginning of the season when momentum is the game, right? In the Premier
Yeah.
League. So
It's
I would have.
I don't think it's about like worrying about the performance, but it was like we needed a statement win, with people calling the Club World Cup a friendly competition when we
Yeah.
slapped the champions of Europe 3-0. So we wanted to come and like show these guys that we are,
Yeah,
still up there. But I don't think we need to be like reactionary or anything. I'm pretty sure Crystal Palace's, record against the top six clubs, I don't think they have lost to the last time they played against all top six clubs. Last time they played Liverpool, they tied and then they beat them in penalties. Last time they played City, they beat them. Arsenal, Tottenham, who else? Manchester United haven't lost to them either. So
hmm,
it's it's not the fact that we lost. It's not the fact that we dropped points, but it's the fact that you don't want to be chasing from game week one. You want to be up
absolutely.
there and keep on momentum, especially, we talk about how our first couple games are easy, right?
Yeah,
That means that after that is going to be a run of difficult games. And I saw our schedule and we're gonna have a tough time later on in the season. So
yeah,
we need to get as many points as possible. And with tough games like this, we need to be able to score a goal, man. Like you saw how many corners we had. We had
yeah.
11 corners, and we couldn't
Oh, yeah.
even put any of those crosses on target. Not with a header, not with a volley, not with, it drops to someone. And maybe that's to Crystal Palace's defending, but also
Yeah.
we're not great at set pieces, and we need to be able to score these set pieces to gain points, like Arsenal did against Manchester United.
Right.
Arsenal didn't do great, but they got that set piece, little corner FC, scored
Yeah.
it, and they got the 3 points, and now they're
Yeah.
they're, they're up there. So we need to improve on that.
We're probably sixth or seventh when it comes to conversions from set pieces. And I think the magnitude difference between the ones who are at the top, like Arsenal,
Mhm.
and the difference between some of us who are placed right in the middle with the other host of clubs, that magnitude is the worrying bit, because there's a difference of good 15-20 goals. And we're talking at a base of 20-25 odd goals at which
Okay.
we're at,
Oh wow.
considering from 23-24 season until now. So in the last two seasons, we probably only nailed 20-25 odd goals in the Premier League through set pieces,
Hmm.
and whereas Arsenal and all sit at around 38-40 odd mark. So that's the difference we're talking about. And though
Yes.
those goals are easily game changers and potentially point differences that we end up drawing or you end up winning games, right? So that's the difference there. Yeah,
Exactly.
but credit to Cal Palace though, Firizio. I mean, they played really well, and I expect them to be in the top half of the table. I think come May, because the sort of momentum they've had, there's a fire about them. There's this sort of a sporting anger about them, having missed out on the Europa League, got demoted because of of an issue which was beyond their control, right? As a club, it's the
Yes.
broader ownership which is the issue here, and not them personally.
Yeah.
So I think that is one bit, right? So consider. But yeah, I think all said and done, we can probably also review some of the hits and misses from match week one, especially when we talk about strikers. So
Yes.
there were a host of new strikers who came in, and big money moves, lot of hype, lot of transfer speculation, rumors, all that behind us, and now we still have the existing Premier League strikers who were able to do well in match week one,
Yes.
and you had
Yes.
newcomers, and notably only Ekitike got a goal, and no one else could. So
Hmm.
that's one thing to worry about. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Ekitike, he's great. I mean, we saw his goal against Crystal Palace, Community Shield final, and he was able to get one as well and assist against Bournemouth, who is a decent side. But in
yeah,
terms of Gyökeres, Sesko, I expect them to have a little bit of time before they can adapt to the league. I mean, I'm a big fan of Sesko, not
mm,
much so Gyökeres, just because I feel like in that game specifically, I'm talking about, he just didn't look like he was having the right touches. He was moving like he had like boots on, he wasn't moving nicely. He was so stiff. I don't know what's going on, and I feel like he needs to be able to not be a starter in that team. I feel like you need to get Kai Havertz back in there and have Gyökeres get minutes instead of starting a
mm.
game and just floating around all game. So. In terms of that, I don't think it's a worry for Arsenal fans. He'll be scoring goals soon. Joao Pedro. Before this game specifically,
Mm.
he had 5 goals in 5 games against
Five games, yeah.
great opponents: AC Milan, PSG,
Yeah.
Fluminense. You know, these
Yeah.
aren't bad sides, but I don't think he got
Yeah.
the service on Sunday. And again,
Hmm.
it's not a worry. Like this guy is Premier League proven, and he's technically gifted. Once he gets the ball, once he's able to get the ball, once he finds his spaces, he's so good. And I even watched a Cole Palmer interview where he said that like he really rates Joao Pedro and their chemistry together. So I feel like
Hmm.
I trust Enzo Maresca to be able to find a way that the way like the dynamic would work even when they're being shut down by low block teams and where they're not even able to receive the ball because those Crystal Palace midfield duo is blocking all the channels. So yeah, I hope it's well, and I think like this next game we'll definitely see it. West Ham, Graham Potter. This should be the easiest lick of all time. 5-0 maybe. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I need to see.
Absolutely. You know what? But just on that note, as a Chelsea fan, I really like to lay low because we both know. Of course, you had called out the Club World Cup victory ahead of time against PSG, who no one really gave us a chance there, and
Yeah.
you called it out, and kudos to you for doing that because that's bold on your part. And but what I'm really trying to put across is the fact that whenever we have our backs against the wall is when the real Chelsea is there, right, to see
Yeah,
and enjoy. And I think
for
whenever
sure.
we end up proving all the haters wrong is when the fun really emerges for us to
For
witness.
sure.
And yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I would not enjoy my time if we were first and we were favorites. It's good to be underdogs and it's good to kind of just be the dark horses in there. And no matter what, when we lose, they're gonna say these guys spent 1 billion and they lost. When we win,
yeah,
they're gonna say they spent 1 billion. We expect them to win. So,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what others say. We just have to be under the radar and produce results. Yeah.
absolutely. So now then, given that we've spoken at length about match week one and what it
Hmm.
transpires for some of the other teams, who are some of the hits and misses. So now let's probably switch gears to the transfer market. 10 days remain in the window to close. A lot of clubs still scrambling for reinforcements, of course.
Yes.
Could be partly due to injuries to certain players, certain clubs looking for specific profiles.
Hmm.
Modern football, of course, has evolved so much over the past few years, isn't it, Firizu? I just wanted to probably get your opinion on what's really happening. Bit of focus on, let's say, of course, who we're after as Chelsea. Who do you see when you look at the other teams as well? Who might they be looking at? Of course, Arsenal have a fresh injury worry when it comes to Havertz, who might have done his ACL because Ornstein generally does not report injuries. But the two injuries that he's previously reported for Madison, and I think it was for Levi Colwill as well, and both of them turned out to be ACL. So that's not really looking pretty for Arsenal. But yeah, what's happening? The transfer window might have also kept you occupied all summer.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah,
Somewhat. I think there's been a very, this is obviously outside of Chelsea, it's been a very toxic transfer window, for a lot of Premier League clubs with Isak having his problems with his club, releasing a statement yesterday, just, and like it was a lot of drama. Like, obviously, I don't know what's going on there, so I can't speak on it, but it seems like I don't want to call it unprofessional, but
mm,
it is very odd, very
mm,
interesting. And I've even seen Newcastle fans turn on against him saying we're not going to sell him and we'll just let him sit on the bench for 3 years. So then when he turns 29, he can go find a new club then and ruin his career. So that it's very
holy.
hateful stuff. Um,
Oh,
Garnacho as well. Obviously, Chelsea has been looking to get Garnacho, and Fabrizio keeps updating and updating. I don't really want to hear it, but when it does happen, obviously, it's gonna be a thing of like what's the fee? You know, if the fee's 30, 40, Chelsea's going to go for it. If it's
Yeah.
50, United's going to be happy with it. And I feel like if that transfer doesn't go through, Garnacho's going to play with the U21s for at least a
Mm.
season. So, and I think they'll be happy to do that. I don't think he's on really high wages either. So,
Mm.
yeah, in terms of that hasn't been a happy, joyful transfer window. So I don't know. But in terms of the center back that we're looking for at Chelsea,
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening, man. I've heard reports that the sporting directors are saying the checkbook is closed for a center back, but it's not
Mm.
closed for Garnacho for some reason. When the
Oh,
manager who got you two trophies and a top four finish last season is telling you, yes, we have center backs, but we don't have a central center back that can, play the ball through the middle, great passer, left-footed. Um, sorry, it's telling me where to download the file for the previous one. Just quickly. We'll put it right here. Sorry, it just popped up out of nowhere. Okay.
no worries at all. Go
We're good.
on. We got that out.
All
Yeah.
right, let me just start from the beginning. The manager who's won you two trophies, a top four finish, is telling you we need a central center back. Obviously, in a back line of four, we have two center backs, but when we're actually playing, when we're attacking, we have three at the back. And he
Hmm.
wants that middle guy at the three to be ball playing, to be confident on the ball, to play those, strong bullet passes to the person who's receiving it, Palmer, Enzo, whoever's there. And Maresca's saying, I don't have that guy because Levi Colwill is gone. Wesley Fofana is not good at it. He straight up told him that he's not good at it. He said Tosin is good at it, but got injured. I think he'll be back
Yeah.
soon. So he's telling you this is the top profile we need. And the sporting directors are saying no. They're saying no. The checkbook is closed for a center back. We're not getting a center back. We're getting Alejandro Garnacho. So that's very weird. Very, very weird. Obviously, I trust Maresca in finding the solution to that. He's very adaptable, but it's a shame. It's a shame because this is the season that we need to be at our best to compete with the best. And we have to, kind of find other solutions that we don't really need to find. Like, we're world champions. We need to have everything in our hands. But yeah.
Yeah, especially after always having the intent to be on the market whenever we need it to be,
Hmm.
and we're one club who aren't shy enough to head to the market if there are reinforcements who we need, and I think we've done that at several positions, except the fact that it doesn't make sense to me why we're not after a goalkeeper also. There's a lack of surety. There's no disrespect to Sanchez, of course, but he just doesn't give me the confidence to go in
Yeah.
to a new season with just
Yes.
him and Jorgensen trying to fight it out. I'd want a third goalkeeper who can possibly contest for that number one spot, and not just be a Marcus Bettinelli who's in the background having a
Yeah.
gala time with the players. I mean, you have other folks in the support staff to do that,
Exactly.
to work on
Why
player
why
morale. And
why are you hiring a keeper? Why are you hiring a keeper to play Uno with the guys? Like a keeper
exactly.
should be always competing. I get this third choice keeper where he's barely playing. Good for the morale. You know who else could be good for the morale? The assistant manager, maybe. I don't know. But in terms of this keeper thing, I there's no agendas,
Or
right?
maybe Mr. Willie Iza. Maybe Mr. Willie Iza, who works with the folks on
Exactly.
mentality
Yeah,
and
good
for
mentality.
purely those purposes,
Okay,
right?
we
You
have a
have a guy for
mentality.
that.
We have a mentality coach. Why don't we have a fun coach? All right.
Just a
Just the
fun
guy,
coach.
yeah, he just comes in with a clown costume every day, does a couple dances. That would be good.
Dresses as Stamford the Lion.
Yeah, that'd be yeah, facts.
That would be good, no?
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's not obviously people are kind of trusting Sanchez now because he had a great performance at the Club World Cup. He even won what? Keeper of the tournament, Club World Cup, out of Courtois,
Yeah.
Donnarumma. He won it.
Mhm.
So I genuinely think they trust in Slonina who got signed to Strasbourg, And they
Yeah.
trust him so much that they want him to come in next season and be the starting keeper immediately. Because if they were
Mm.
to get Mainan right now, if they were to get Donnarumma right now, he would be the keeper for the next 5 seasons. And they don't want that.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
just they think Sanchez is a good, 1 year solution, even though he's great at shot stopping, but he'll also make errors that lead to goals. So it's kind of
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a balance there. Hopefully we see him gone very, very soon. Hopefully. No offense.
Hopefully, I really, if you really ask me, I don't see that happening, unfortunately, and that it is what it is. No, but you know what? Interestingly, just before we kind of touched upon some of the Chelsea signings, there's very interesting topic that you of course mentioned about was the entire saga that's really happening with Isaac, right? So if I'm just to put myself in the shoes of a Newcastle fan, you've got big things to now worry about. So you accept the fact that you have your main marquee players who's basically defaming the club in a way and basically talking about the fact that the club didn't keep their promises, but the fact that you also have the FFP to deal with, which has probably been a hindrance to you when it comes to limiting your transfer activity. You have Champions League football to look forward to. You've not probably strengthened as you would have imagined to, and then you have your main guy there knocking on the door and saying, "I want to leave." And come on, man. I mean, what is the future of the club like? Because even through preseason games that we watched of Newcastle, and when we look at some of the games that of course the match week one is where it became really clear to us that they really lack a number nine who can put the
Mm,
ball in the back of the net.
yeah.
And it's glaring as an issue, right? Which is just which needs addressing now.
Yeah.
And it'll start to become critical because you're one of those clubs who will be involved in the biggest of European competitions.
Mm,
You can't let yourself down as a fan base, right?
yeah. I mean, I watched this Newcastle side without Isak against Aston Villa, and they they play well. Newcastle always
Mm.
plays well. Eddie Howe has a
Yeah.
great style of play, but there was no one to finish the ball in the net. I think they tried this PSG thing where they have three wingers up top and they switch around. I saw Gordon
Yeah.
as striker sometimes. Gordon should never be in that striker position against big center backs. So obviously they're trying to get Wissa from Brentford, which I think would be a great striker signing. But Isak is just that guy. He'll get you 20 goals every
Mm.
season. And
Yeah.
a club like Newcastle, who, where they're going to be in the Champions League phases, they're going to be trying to challenge for the Carabao Cup like they did last season. They're going to be
Yeah.
in the FA Cup. Premier League, they want to stay up there. With
Yeah.
Tottenham and United up there now, that top
Yeah.
five race isn't going to be easy anymore.
It won't.
So I don't know. This Isak thing needs to get stopped very soon, especially Arsenal. They have Gyökeres. I don't think they're going to go for Isak anymore. Liverpool, they see now Ekitike is firing goals. If Isak comes in, it doesn't make sense. I could see it happening, but it doesn't make sense. You cannot,
Doesn't make sense
you
to
can't do
me
that.
too.
Okay, now it's getting a little too crazy. Okay, so I actually can't see him going anywhere else. Genuinely, it's gonna be a great, last day of the
Mhm.
transfer. There's gonna be like big signings. I feel like so. I'm excited. I'm excited, man.
Just on that, do you think there's a chance we're able to get the profile that we're looking for in terms of a center back as a possible loan option towards the end of the window? Could that be an option? Because of course the checkbook is not out,
Yeah.
but then that doesn't deter us from probably signing a solution on loan because then you don't have an obligation to have him on the books and he can perhaps put in a shift for you and then perhaps leave after that time is over. I mean,
Mhm.
doesn't
Okay.
that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. And I think we should do that. Have you seen the recent Fofana thing he did on his Instagram? Now
Not yet.
he
Tell me about it.
Okay. So I think this happened this morning where he removed every post relating to Chelsea on his Instagram. There's not a single Chelsea shirt in any of his feed. Okay. And obviously the comments of these kind of news articles, they're going like, he's a flop, 80 million. and he's only played 30 something games. Um, I don't want to jump on that train yet and be like,
Mhm.
what is he doing? He's a snake, whatever. I I personally don't know what's going on. Maybe he's getting ready for a comeback and wants to start, fresh. That's giving him the benefit of the doubt. But if he is leaving, if he is trying to force a move out, a center back move has to happen. Because the fact that they're
Yeah,
not getting a center back, it means they're trusting Fofana to come back and become fit. They're trusting
yeah.
Badiashile to come back and become fit. Who Badiashile, he gets a lot of hate, but I think he is amazing. I'm not gonna like
Hmm.
I think he's great, bro. He's not average. He's a great center back. He's had a couple mistakes, but he's young and he's also gonna improve as time goes on. Great ball playing. His long balls, I've seen him. Great in the
Hmm.
Conference League. He was solid. So I think they're trusting these injuries to come back, and I feel like they have too much trust in these, in their form. I feel like
Yeah.
so we need to get a center back. I don't know what kind of great center back is available on loan because usually older center backs are
Hmm.
not. You just have to either sign them or I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, and I feel like
Yeah.
we need it more than anything. I think even more
Right.
than Xavi Simons, who
Hmm.
Fabrizio says is 85% almost done. He's always changing up the percentages. I don't know what the percentages mean, but he's very close apparently.
Yeah. No, just on that, I think now that we're, of course, nearing towards the end of the window, and football and all of the contractual agreements that the players have with the clubs, it's so dynamic and it changes so quickly. Like we saw in Chiesa's case, right? One match winner for Liverpool, and the sentiment and the happiness index of the player kind of really transitions from being not so happy to now being ecstatic with where he's at. And I think let's see. I mean, if those movers and shakers appear in front of us in the next 10 days, uh, do we have such a potential we can look at and snap up potentially to add on our squad? But just on that Garnacho and Xavi Simons bit, I see, if even if we probably sign Xavi Simons, I think he does the role of a proper creative playmaker in that central role, as well as on the left side.
There
He
we
can
go.
probably take
That's
it
what I
on the
need to
left as
hear.
well.
He's great on the left. And if he
Exactly.
if he's there challenging Gittins, it's
Yeah.
enough. Garnacho is
And then
not the
you
man
have
we
Pedro
need.
Neto to deputize there as well.
There we go. Okay. On the right, Esteval,
Yeah.
Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
That's a good two right there. On the
Yeah.
left, Gittins, Xavi Simmons. Pedro
Yeah.
Neto can play on the left. Xavi
Yeah.
Simmons can play in the middle instead of Palmer, and Palmer can play on the right.
Absolutely.
Esteval can play in the middle. There we go.
Absolutely.
That's how much Gittins, Palmer, Xavi Simons, Pedro Neto, and Esteval.
Hmm.
That's five players in
Five
three
players.
spots. Let's say
Yeah.
Tyreek George is still around on the left.
Yeah.
That's six players. I think that's great depth. And Garnacho is. I'm gonna stop talking. I don't like the guy.
And you know what? Just on that point, when you play Liam Delap up top, you probably have João Pedro who can drop in the cam role, in the number 10 role, or potentially play
Yeah.
left wing as well. He's done
Yes.
that. He's played a lot of his career in midfield. He's
Yes.
played as a deep midfielder, and I think that's where we probably also lacked against in the game against Crystal Palace. The team was playing a low block, and we didn't probably involve João Pedro as much, just like we probably didn't involve Cole Palmer as much. What if he would have dropped in deeper to receive
Hmm.
balls, come short, involve yourself in the play? Because that's his major strength, right?
Yeah.
Picking the ball up deep and then helping your team
Yeah.
transition into the final third.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously scoring goals, a lot of goals for
Hmm.
Chelsea, and Brighton never used him as a striker for some reason, even though he's a great finisher, amazing
Exactly.
finisher. So the fact that, they've had great managers in the past that haven't used him as a striker, clearly they see him as a guy who can move the ball forward. And,
Yeah.
you know, maybe it's a game where we need a strong body in the box put in the lap. Then we
Yeah.
have Joao Pedro on the left. But then the problem is maybe we don't have striker options on the bench. Maybe that
That
would
is
be an
why.
issue.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
Jackson also almost out the door. But yeah, So, ladies and gentlemen, that was more or less all that has transpired over match week one. Some very, very interesting stories that could emerge from the transfer market. I hope some of you geeks out there who, just like us, have been following all that's been transpiring and happening. It's been really eventful. If you like this episode by us, do let us know on the comment section what you feel. What are certain elements that you want us to probably cover in a potential next episode? Of course, make sure you give him some love so that he turns back up and we're able to do this again.
It was great to be
Until
here.
the next one, guys, thank you so much, Firizio. Great chatting with you, man.
Thank
Cheers.
you,
Come on, you blues.
sir.